The Cincinnati Bengals fell just short of winning the Super Bowl in one of the most exciting and improbable runs we've seen in some time. But make no mistake about it, Joe Shiesty and those badass Bengals are here to stay for the long run. Maybe. The Bengals need to absolutely prioritize the offensive line, not only in the draft, but in free agency as well. In the regular season, Joe Burrow took 51 sacks, just a year removed from a serious knee injury. And I don't care how tough you are, that has to take a toll on your body for sure. Not to mention, Burrow also took an additional 19 sacks in the postseason. 70 sacks in a season is a nightmare scenario for any quarterback. But just think what the Bengals could have done if Burrow had just a split second more time this season. We could very well be saying the Bengals are Super Bowl champions right now. So without further ado, here is my full 7-round 2022 Cincinnati Bengals mock draft. With their very first pick in this draft at number 31 overall, I have the Cincinnati Bengals taking Bernhard Raimann, tackle from Central Michigan. Raimann is an uber-athletic prospect who actually spent the first 2 years on the Chippewas roster as a tight end, before packing on weight to play tackle, and what a move it turned out to be. Raimann has silky smooth footwork and can adjust well to either speed or power rushers. His tremendous length makes it hard for opposing defenders to get around him in an effective manner. Whether it comes in pass protection, in the run game, on reach blocks, or working on quick throws and screens on the perimeter, he carries his weight well and adjusts his frame to not overrun or overcommit against defenders when he's unattached. Perhaps the lone, brightish spot on the Bengals O-line was Jonah Williams, who looked a lot better in pass protection this season, so it's possible that he stays at left tackle. But regardless of Williams, Raimann can play both tackle positions and would be an extremely welcomed asset for the Bengals and Joe Burrow. With the Bengals' next pick at number 63 overall, I have them taking Jamaree Salyer, guard from Georgia. I'm absolutely loving the way this board has fallen so far for the Bengals. Hakeem Adeniji and Jackson Carman were pretty awful this season, and Quinton Spain is a free agent. The Bengals need a powerful force on the interior of the offensive line, and Salyer brings some real nastiness and power to his pass and run sets. His sheer size makes him difficult to deal with on the interior. He's got the perfect temperament for the NFL. He's got great power at the point of attack, but demonstrates great discipline. He has a significant amount of experience at the tackle position, but his slight lack of arm length would make him a much better guard at the next level, something that the Bengals desperately need. With the Bengals' next pick at number 95 overall, I have them taking Cade Otton, tight end from Washington. I know CJ Uzomah had a good year and spent his entire career with the Bengals thus far, but the soon-to-be 30-year-old tight end might command a lot of offers in free agency, and possibly might look to move on. Cade Otton has been one of the most slept-on tight end prospects in this year's class. He's a 6'5", 250-pound monster who has above-average hands and blocking ability, especially in the run game. Otton has a great catch radius and does a good job of securing the ball away from his body through traffic. He's a mismatch nightmare for about 99% of NFL linebackers, and would honestly be a big upgrade over Uzomah, especially in the passing game. Imagine adding a presence like that in the middle of the field for Big Dick Joe on top of this receiving core. Sign me up. With the Bengals' next pick at number 134 overall, I have them taking Mykael Wright, cornerback from Oregon. I just know that every Bengals fan watching this right now is dying to keep Vernon Hargreaves and Eli Apple on their team, right? Okay, in all seriousness, Mike Hilton and Chidobe Awuzie were excellent signings last season, but the position lacked good depth behind those two. Wright is a good athlete that has above-average tackling ability for a cornerback, and does very well in run support. In coverage, Wright does a good job of closing the gap with his quickness in zone coverage, and in man, he is very good. While he is proficient in all three levels, he shines the most covering short to intermediate routes in man-to-man coverage. Wright is a good prospect with room to grow, and would be a valuable asset to the secondary of the Cincinnati Bengals. With the Bengals' next pick at number 173 overall, I have them taking Otito Ogbonnia, defensive tackle from UCLA. Ogbonnia is an intriguing day 3 prospect that has day 1 starting potential. He is a strong player that has a great bull rush and is really stout against the run. I'm confident that the Bengals will re-sign either BJ Hill or Larry Ogunjobi, but not both. We saw how imperative the depth of the defensive tackle position was for the Bengals after Ogunjobi went down with his injury. If the Bengals can't retain or re-sign more defensive tackles, adding Ogbonnia would be a major score in the later rounds. He isn't the flashiest player, but he is super solid and gives 110% on every single snap. With the Bengals' next pick at number 208 overall, I have them taking Yusuf Corker, safety from Kentucky. Yusuf Corker is a perfect rotational safety piece in the later rounds that would serve the Bengals well, especially in run support, where he exceeds greatly. His experience is another great asset for him throughout this draft process, as he has started 50 games for the Wildcats, including 37 in a row, which also displays his durability. I doubt that Jesse Bates leaves in free agency, so adding a box safety run stuffer like Corker could serve the defense well. Corker also has the look of a core special teamer, which only increases his value as the draft process goes along. With the Bengals' next pick at number 224 overall, I have them taking Nick Ford, center from Utah. Nick Ford is currently aligned at center, but he also has aligned at left guard, left tackle, right guard, and you guessed it, right tackle. He is a sufficient athlete with regards to body control and redirect agility. In the run game, he is a nasty blocker and sufficient finisher, and plays hard from snap to whistle. He is very good on combo blocks and can get to the second level where he has been fairly efficient on getting linebackers. Trey Hopkins was less than stellar, to put it very lightly, this season. Perhaps bringing in a late-round developmental prospect like Ford for competition could push him to play better, or Ford could even wind up winning the starting job. And finally, with the Bengals' last pick at number 250 overall, I have them taking Jack Coan, quarterback from Notre Dame. No, I'm not trying to draft Joe Burrow's successor. Relax. But Jack Coan has a very similar playing style and body type to Joe Burrow. Not only can Coan be a serviceable backup, he can also run the same type of offense that Burrow can if, God forbid, he goes down with a bad injury. It's an insurance policy that I don't think the Bengals should pass up at this point in the draft.